Tell me more about what you do and why podcasting is a field that's been such a good fit for you and the people that you coach. Because I love podcasts. Like you, I feel podcasts have changed my life. But tell me your perspective, your experience.
I decided to specialize in podcast management because I had the connection. I started editing for people, show notes. But as I'm doing that, I find I'm coaching them too because they're new at this. They're curious, just like me. They're wanting to share their voice with a specific niche. So I love that. So I love that how podcasting can make you really niche down and really talk to that one person. We're not, it's not a broadcast all over the place. It's really, you're talking to your people. So that community sense and that visibility, that's what I help my women of color. So I help women of color wellness coaches specifically align the way they make money with their podcast strategy so they can increase their visibility and build a niched community that can be their support wherever they decide to start the business. So I think it's important to just always remember that you have those skills. You just have to kind of make a list of your skills, what your passions are. And that's the exercise I do with my clients to kind of find that line where, okay, everything is mostly balanced and what can you help your clients with now. So for me at the time was editing. Now it's voice coaching that I do mainly, and then marketing for podcasts, for monetizing strategies and so forth. So wherever you are, perhaps you're working and you want to now work remotely or start kind of find what skills you might need to have under your belt to eventually be able to work from anywhere. So it's a work in progress until you find what you want to do. And it's a lifetime, it's a lifetime commitment, but it's so rewarding because it's your business, it's you, and you can take time off anytime. You can have a baby and still do your work. You have no extra stress. So I'm really thankful that I was set up in that world and that I'm able to make that money. And as I said to people, I'm not like the luxurious life neither. That's why it's sustainable for me, but I see the avenues. And now that I'm connecting with people like you, like I'm so thankful that you created such a platform because I'm getting the connection more and more. And as you get part of a community, you kind of see the gap. I'm done sweating and giving my life and health. When here, they're teaching me to heal myself and give back to myself. Over there, they're just taking everything. And at the end of the day, I know the system is against me. That's what I discovered. So how about I just come and create my own system? And that's how I see podcasting, is that you create your own system of how you want your voice to flow. And this is why I call myself workflow with Rokhaya, because the work of God, your personal work, or just a shift in your work that you need to reach that balance. And one step further, we should be nomads. I call ourselves African nomads, and we should be able to live anywhere and bring and share that culture among us, because there's things I learned that are very different from the African culture to the Jamaican. But because I'm Black and I'm here, people just assume like, oh yeah, she understands patois, like, oh, she's good. I remember at first people would just talk and think I'm keeping up, but I always tell them my ear is a French, like it's English. Yes, I seems like I speak English beautifully, but in my head, I don't really think so.
Yeah, and for sure. And so to tell me more, for folks anywhere, or women of color specifically, anywhere, whether they happen to be in North America, Europe, or on the African continent, who are thinking, gosh, I would love to move. I know that being here isn't for me. I want to be elsewhere, but I don't quite know how to do it. I don't know how to transfer what I'm doing now to something that can be done online. What advice would you give them, the sort of people who are like, I love what you do, but is it for me? How can I make it work? What sort of initial advice would you give them to get ready to explore making that leap?
Yes, definitely. I would, like I said, make a list of your current talents, your current passions, and then find a mentor or coach. Definitely, it will help. That's what changed it for me. Once I was introduced to a coach as a virtual assistant, then I understood the system. Before, I was just applying online and was never getting an answer. And then in 3 days of launching, I had my first client. I would start networking in the industry that you want to specialize in. It doesn't have to be what I do. I just love marketing, and I found I like to do niche marketing like that and find people's specific voice. So do that list and then get a coach that can either help you relocate, or I offer, as I said, voice coaching for people that want to network more, pitch themselves, and make a list of what are those skills? Like, what's the gap between what you want to do and what you're doing right now? What are the skills you're going to have to learn? Do you have to learn social media? Do you have to learn editing? Do you have to learn to make videos? Do you have to learn copywriting? And then this is when you decide who are you going to pay, because you'll have to outsource and delegate if you want to grow. If you have the money. If you don't have the money, then you'll have to just invest in learning it yourself. So give yourself time, keep your job if you're working, and learn those skills. This is what's going to help you, because once you have those skills and you can prove to yourself, hey, I can land jobs online. Now you've moved now to a side hustle. And then the rest is just leave it in the hand of God. Like, the doors will open where you know how you want to make money. And I find the community mostly online is usually, moms, busy people that still want to achieve a certain financial freedom, but they also want to be free to do travel and do things. For our mission is to be able to go back in the country. And we're actually doing that pretty soon by the end of this month. And we're just going to live in a little board house and start planting our food. And, it started, like I said, healing. I escaped. Then it was a pandemic. Then it was a question of, how do I make money now? And then now it's family. And now we're just building a legacy. And I think you can build a legacy, like, no matter your budget, no matter what you have. And just keep in mind, if you are able to be thinking, how can I go to another country and do this and that? Then you're privileged. Meaning, if it doesn't work out, you can still go back. You can still rent an Airbnb while you look for housing. Like, already how it works there. It's not like it's going to be hard. You've done it. I think it's just overcoming the fears and the doubts and start your mindset work early on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. I think in some ways, yes, you don't need to plan everything out. I've never put an Excel spreadsheet that has like the dates, the money. That's just not me. But I do think starting to do the preparation work beforehand and testing out your potential new career as a side hustle before you leave, that definitely can give you a true sense of, hey, is this really going to work for me? Because I think in some ways there's nothing worse than starting a brand new career overseas and figuring out it's not as lucrative as you thought, or you just don't like it. So yeah, there's definitely ways to get things done. It's been so exciting talking to you, and I can't wait to hear more about your move to the board house, because I too am looking to get even further out into the country. So yeah, maybe we can share some growing tips and that sort of thing.
Definitely. We'll keep connected.
Definitely. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you. But just before we go, is there any other pieces of advice that you want to give to people? Because I think you shared some real gems here today.
Yes. Just, believe in yourself. And as I said, don't think that it has all need to be laid out and planned. Sometimes you have to leave some things to the fate and just go for it. And even if it ends up not working out, there was a lesson that you could take out of it. And perhaps it was necessary to teach you that lesson. Just don't quit though. Just stick to it a little bit longer. And I think that's what my situation taught me, is that because I had no option and I was miss option A, B, C, D before, I was forced to just sit a little more in my uncomfortableness until the reward just, like I was able to reap what I saw. Definitely.
Yeah. I love that. It's all about growth at the end of the day.
Yes.
Okay, it's been such a pleasure. I will drop your details in the description so that if folks want to get in touch with you, they can. But I wish you and your family all the best on your adventure in Jamaica. And thank you so much for sharing your story.